You already had your brothers in the business,
Yeah.
but you still went to performing arts schools. I feel like some people would be like, well, I don't need to go be taught anything. I already got an in, and you decided to learn the craft because you really wanted.
When you coming up behind giants, you better get your stuff together. I mean, I was raised in a house with legends, and if I want to be one, or even walk in those footprints, you gotta study since you're that big.
Right.
You know, it's a lot trying to not live up to who they are, but it's a lot trying to carve out who you
Your own
are
spot.
when you're raised in a family full of comedic giants.
Everybody's funny and talented.
Everybody's
That's
funny.
Crazy. What's in the water in you guys' genes? What do you think?
Lots of jokes, but here's the thing, like for me, I never wanted to do stand-up comedy because I always felt like, what do I have to offer? When you do stand-up, you talk about your life, and you talk about your childhood, and I'm like, well, there's 5 other comedians in my family. By the time I come up, I ain't gonna have no stories left. They gonna tell all the stories.
But that turns out to not be true.
It's not true. What happens is you find your voice. When I started doing stand-up about 8-10 years ago, I found that I got my own stories, my own development. Even though all Wayans is, my experience is different than everybody else's. I did know I always wanted to be in the industry, so at a young age, I was preparing. I wanted to be an actor before I seen my brothers do it. Like, before I saw Keenan in the TV, I was already doing Peter Pan in the 2nd grade play. I was, Casey at the Bat, my 1st grade play. I always knew this was something I wanted to be. I actually turned down the role of Oliver Twist in the 4th grade because I felt like it was degrading. I was like, I don't want to ask.
Character wasn't fleshed out.
I said no. I turned it down. I remember all my teachers was begging me, Mr. Burns, you have to be in it. You're the most fabulous actor in the school. And I'm sitting there going, no, it's degrading. And this was at the time when Roots was out, and I was like, no. This reminds me of Chicken George and Roots. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pass. And then they offered it again, and I said, no, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna play Oliver Twist. I'm gonna play Mr. Bumble, which is the villain. That's who I'm gonna play. And I wore it out, because I was funny, but I was dark, and I didn't give in. I let Joel Calloway play Oliver Twist, and he was a little guy, and he had this bar between his legs, and he used to walk like this. And so me being Mr. Bumble and being able to push him around, he actually made a better Oliver Twist than I did. Because Oliver Twist is supposed to be like, oh, I feel so bad for Oliver. So you instantly feel bad for a dude
with a bar between his legs.
With a rod between his legs. I felt bad for him. There was times I wanted to push him on the slide, but I couldn't.
What?
He had the rod between his legs. So I always knew I wanted to be an actor.
What happened that you were like, I'm ready to start stand-up now, after thinking for so long that you didn't have anything to say?
I told you I just didn't want to do it, because another thing,
But what happened where you
didn't want to be like my brothers. I always wanted to be me. I loved them. And when I was younger, I wanted to be them. But as I got older, I wanted to have my own path to success. So I wanted to be the actor of the family. I did stand-up early in my career, like when I was like 17, 19. I did it like 60 times. Chris Rock heckled me, I quit. He's an asshole for that. I'm gonna go to his next taping, I'm gonna heckle him.
I feel like that'll make anybody quit.
Get heckled by a legend. All right, so I quit. And then I didn't do it again until I did a movie called Behind the Smile that my brother Damon directed, and it's about a comedian. So I started doing stand-up because I had to do that role. And it was a great movie. He never released it. I don't know why, but he has my Oscar in a closet somewhere in his house. And so after that, I didn't do stand-up again. And then I auditioned for the role of Pryor. And the actor in me brought me to the stage, because if I'm gonna play Richard Pryor, then I better get my black ass on stage. If you're gonna play the greatest comedian to ever live, then you better get your comedy game up. So I started doing stand-up, and I had got the role, and then it went away. And Richard Pryor role, I don't know, it goes to everybody. Like, it was supposed to be me, Mike Epps, Damon was supposed to do it at one point, Eddie was gonna do it. I think Kevin's up for it now.
I mean, doesn't that kind of say
he doesn't even look like him. He's not
does
even
not.
close to height.
He doesn't.
You can put him in stilts. No, I'm joking.
But do you feel like that's because Richard Pryor is such a thing onto himself that it's been hard to find somebody that?
No, I think that it's
Or
just
it's just
hard,
industry shit?
It's just a hard movie to make.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on with the rights and the creative. So, you know, I don't know what's going on with the movie, but I believe in alchemy, and I believe in, like, God does things for a reason.
Right.
Right? Me growing up idolizing Richard Pryor, that brought me to the stage. And ever since I started doing comedy, I found that I didn't want to play a great. I want to be a great. And so now I'm doing stand-up every weekend. I did my first special. I'm ready for my next one. I know what my next 2 or 3 are going to be. Now I'm working on my own legend. And the very thing that I said that I didn't want to do, now is the thing that I feel like I'm excelling at, which is stand-up. Stand-up is making me an all-around better comedic artist.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
So-
what I needed. Like, I've been a star for 30-something years. But I think in order to get to superstardom, you have to add something to the game. You have to change something. And I think that's the thing that's gonna glue it all together.